PC gaming is just getting unaffordable at this point. You know, I get calls from a lot of people who want to build PCs, who actually want to enjoy PC gaming. Maybe they just want something better than their console. They don't want to play on their TV. Maybe they want a gaming monitor, just to have the different experience. Maybe they're growing up and they're just aging out of the console time. There's many reasons why people want to build PCs. Maybe they also need a PC for multi-purpose uses. There's a lot of things behind it, but now mid-range gaming is just getting really unaffordable. AMD and Nvidia are making it very clear that their priority is AI and not gamers, and it's hard to blame them because we know that's where they make their money. But man, gamers are kind of being forgotten a little bit. And until this AI boom is over, which once again, no one blames them for, I don't think gamers will be anywhere near a priority for either of these companies anytime soon. Sony could have been maybe one of the companies best in position to actually notice this and take advantage of this because they were developing the PS5 Pro with AMD. So maybe they seen behind the scenes R&D or something going on with these mid-range cards, and maybe, hear from someone in the market saying, hey, these mid-range cards are going to be expensive. If you price the PS5 Pro at $750, maybe you can probably make some more money out of it, but at the same time, you'll be ridiculed in the market as soon as the console comes out. However, people will notice after the next gen of graphics cards come out that having an entire console that can game for you and be your, central media point for $750 might not actually be a bad price, because gaming in the mid-range just for your graphics card will be more than that at that point, And the reason why I'm saying this is Sony is kind of getting the last laugh at this point. Everyone ridiculed them for the price of the PS5 Pro. And then the 5070 and the 5070 Ti from Nvidia, of course, were announced, and the pricing was all over the place. It was supposed to be $750 until a leak happened on Micro Center. And when this leak happened, all hell broke loose, basically. All the reviewers were not very happy because they're seeing the prices at $800, $900, $1,000, even $1,100, $1,200 for mid-range cards. Even adjusting for inflation, it should not be that high. With the pricing issue, later on it came out that someone made a mistake, whether it was Micro Center or anyone else, but evidently one of the graphics cards pricing was adjusted to $750. Now, let's be honest. Once that launches, it's not going to be available. It's going to sell out almost immediately, and everyone else will be paying more. Scalpers will come in and buy up as many graphics cards as they can, price gouge, and take advantage of the market. That's exactly what will happen. And that's assuming that there are even 40 series cards that are left in the market. Maybe if there are too many of those, they're going to find a way to get rid of them. Because if they are there also, believe a lot of people who are building new PCs may buy older gen hardware, which once again is perfectly fine. There is a performance boost going from a 4080, for example, to a 5070 Ti. However, the difference is not enough to account for the price jump. It really just isn't. AMD, on the other hand, this time around, they're not even competing in the high end range. They're releasing the 9070 and the 9070 XT GPUs, and we finally got some final numbers, so I wanted to go over those. So the 9070 XT will have 64 compute units and 64 ray accelerators, 128 AI accelerators for 779 TOPS full precision, which is solid for a mid-range GPU. So a lot of your AI workloads that you may want to do on your computer will perform very well on these cards. The 9070 will have 56 compute units and 56 ray accelerators, 112 AI accelerators for 578 TOPS of performance for AI workloads. Now, does this remind you of anything? What I just said, 64 compute units and 56? This is the same thing that AMD did with Vega, 56 and 64. That was like 9 years ago. That was a long while ago, but that's exactly what they did. Now, okay, don't get me wrong. RDNA 4 is far better than Vega ever was as a architecture. But all this tells me is that I'm pretty certain someone will just be flashing a 9070 to an XT because they're using the same chip. They have the same transistors, the same everything, to be honest with you. So maybe they're just 8 deactivated cores in which someone will flash into an XT variant. And maybe that's why the pricing is so close, because the 9070 was priced at $650, whereas the 9070 XT is priced at $699. Maybe AMD thought about this from the Vega time. It's like, well, once they figure out how to flash it, people will probably be buying this one. It's only a $50 difference. So I guess they'll just take the hit for $50 to make sense of it. I think that's actually what's going on. It would be very interesting to see otherwise. But I personally have a 6900 XT in my system, and this 9070 XT can beat the 6900 XT in 4K performance by 51% after they tested it in 30 games. 51% on average. That's a huge difference. 2 years ago, 6900 XT, then the 6950, and then the 7000 series came out after that. Now all of those are being outperformed basically by a mid-range card. So it makes me question, are these really mid-range cards, or if AMD has another GPU up their sleeve that has 80 compute units like the 6900 XT did, because 64 compute units leaves room for 16 compute unit cores on the die. So maybe there will be another graphics card coming, but we'll have to wait to actually find out. The 9070 XT also, if you use Nvidia GPUs, will perform to the level of a 4080, an RTX 4080, which is solid performance once again. And the RTX 4080, of course, will pretty much be just basically in line with the 5070 Ti, or maybe just a little bit below that point, and that's normal. That's exactly what Nvidia always does every year. Sadly, though, for PC gamers, people who want to build PCs, having that budget of $800 to $1,200, and you're expecting to use a mid-range GPU, you're going to have to go in the last gen, because the GPU is going to eat up most of your budget. Is it possible? Maybe. Is it likely? Not really, because now you're not including a screen or display. You're not including mouse and keyboard. You're not including everything else that you need. Maybe you need a copy of Windows or something. You're not including any of that stuff. If you're starting fresh, 800 to 1200 will be very difficult with any of these mid-range cards, because it's going to eat up most of your budget. So unless you're buying older products, you're probably not building a new PC, so that leaves a lot to be determined. But gamers are going to have to take a back seat, because AMD and Nvidia have sent a very clear message that AI is the focus. This is where they make the biggest bang for their buck. And in all honesty, nobody can blame them. Let's just be real about it. Thank you very much for your time today, guys. Definitely like and subscribe, and we will have much more coming for you. Have a good one.